Listening to another episode of the Hashtag Kangaroos podcast. Here is your host, Dean Masich.
Welcome back to another episode of the Hashtag Kangaroos podcast. I'm your host, Dean Vasic, and today we've got a big one. I should say tonight because it is night time. I'm joined by Mark. Hello, as we dive headfirst into what shapes up as an absolute crucial clash this week against the West Coast Eagles. Mark, have the emotions calmed down from last weekend?
No. Actually, in all honesty, they haven't. This is probably more than any other game. I'm trying to think back in time in terms of, 1998. That upset me more than that. Nothing will ever upset
the grand final.
than that grand final, because we should have won that game. But that's as bad as it gets, to be fair. But outside of that performance on the weekend has upset me more than anything since then. It's not because of the amount they lost by or anything else. It's just this. It was the way that they lost, but also the way a couple of them behaved after they lost. The laughing and joking on the ground and in the rooms afterwards. I just felt like it was a massive slap in the face to supporters who felt sick, like watching it. We're all still watching it. We didn't want to still be watching it. We were watching it to try and understand what was going on. And then you got players who looked like they didn't care. Like it's. I know that's not how they felt, but the optics of it was horrific. And it's
it's an isolated incident. You talk about that, Mark. It happened last year against Geelong, that 100-point loss,
correct,
where Jeremy Cameron kicked goals for fun.
Yeah.
And we're sitting here again after the belting, this time against Fremantle. You got moments like Griffin Lowe post-game having a laugh, whether it's taken out of context or not. It just doesn't sit well with the supporters, like you were saying.
No.
Is that frustrating? It is quite frustrating, isn't it?
Well, him laughing at Dennis Pagan last year really upset me then, given he's a two-time premiership coach. And that was from the heart from Dennis Pagan. He wasn't acting out for the occasion. He was frustrated that he thought they were soft. His view was that they were weak. When things got difficult, they walked away. And then what have they done to prove that's incorrect? When things are going wrong at the moment, Adelaide, was it, I think, 14 goals in a row? Almost as bad. It certainly was at least it's either 12 or 14. I can't remember.
It was 11 in the second quarter or something like that. I can't remember now. Yeah, it was a lot of goals.
It was either 12 or 14 goals in a row. Now,
possibly,
in a quarter. And then we've conceded 70 points in a half against Gold Coast, who then ran out of legs and had an amazing come-from-behind win. But I think that just papered over the cracks of the fact we're conceding run-ons and huge six games in a row over 100 points. So we've gone, that's not what the club's been built on in terms of shin bone of spirit, hard to play against. To hear Fremantle players talking about they've never had, one player came out and said, I've never in my AFL career had that much time and space. And it might
have been a player that was coasting through the back line, ran about 30 metres, took 5 bounces, and held the ball for a good minute and a half.
It was like for the coach to use the word shame, for David King to say he's never seen a North Side play like that before. Just so many comments, and Jimmy Partel saying players just playing for a paycheck. There's been all sorts of comments all week. As a North supporter, you want to be positive about the club, but it's very hard to trust the playing group and the coaches after that sort of loss. And then to hear Adam Simpson talk today about North as a club where because of their defensive strategy, this on the shoulder, they're the only club in the comp that's got this on the shoulder defensive strategy. He goes, if you run at them, they're going to be vulnerable to being opened up for long periods of time. That concerns me strategically. We're the only club who's got that strategy, and it's clearly, as far as Adam Simpson's concerned, is easy to open up and cause some carnage. That so now, and what we've seen the last 6 weeks is teams scoring 100 points plus. How are they going to suddenly stop that now? And the only answer seems to be from Clarko was, well, if we have to win, we have to win heavily at the contest, or we're in trouble. We're the only club who thinks like that. Like, we can't. One, we haven't got the mature enough bodies in that area to be able to say we're going to dominate at clearance and contest every week. Like, we're pretty good at it when we've built a good team of midfielders, but that's not the modern AFL game. So that's probably the biggest concern for me overall. And now, you've got Gary Lyon calling us we're a soft club.
Yeah,
it's pretty hard to take as a supporter after 6 or 7 years of it, and then you would think you've had a gutful of losing as a playing group, and then you've been called a soft club because you just turn up your toes and give up when things get difficult. So Clarko's got a big job, and the rest of the coaches and the playing group got a big job to win the trust back of the supporter and the members who spend a lot of money supporting the club, and they don't expect to see people laughing after they've just been beaten by 124 points and conceded 19 goals in a row. And a lot of, you've got North supporters fighting with each other on social media, some saying you should be positive, some saying, well, I refuse to be positive watching that. And I don't believe you need to be a sycophant as a supporter if you're watching players not giving what they should. They're earning $1 million a year. You've got a right to expect an effort better than that. So, yeah, it's been a horrible. It's been as bad as I've ever felt. And look, 98 grand final was horrible. I didn't feel like the players didn't try. Of course you didn't feel like that then. But that's watching them give up like that on the weekend. That was, and I don't think they consciously gave up. I just think things got away from them. But it looked and felt pretty bad. And their resilience is an issue going. At the moment, if nothing else, they have to prove themselves resilient for the rest of this season, and win or lose, that can't happen again.
No, you sort of mentioned what Clarkson's saying. We have to be better in the contest, and
yeah,
well, I think we spoke a bit off air, and it almost feels like you're saying, well, we've got the talent, and talent's got to win us games.
Correct.
And yeah, we don't have a system outside of that can win us games. I know there was the Gold Coast game in the last quarter where we just went all out, and we got 7 goals from defensive 50. But you're trying to win a game, and they were retreating. So you could. They
were exhausted. They were out in their feet.
Yeah, and look, everything we did seemed to turn into gold in that last quarter, especially from a defensive.
The reality is, you concede 70 points in a half, like we did in that game, you'll win 1 out of 100.
Yeah, which is what happened.
And that's what it was. It was a fluke. The reality is we've conceded 100 points a game for 6 games in a row. For the 3rd year in a row that's happened. We're the only side that's done that. So defensively, we're not improving. As much as we talked about it all summer, we're back where we started again defensively. And I just think it's strategically there's something very wrong. Like the method, we're the only side playing this on the shoulder stuff. It's like it feels like
outdated.
1985.
Yeah, it looks outdated at the moment.
It's embarrassingly outdated. Adam Simpson, he's talking about, he goes, all you have to do is run at them. With that, you'll get players out the back every time. Yeah. It's just such an easy way of doing it. Like, I don't know enough about it, but when a modern coach is just out of coaching, and he's an ex-North person, so he's not saying it to be nasty. He loves North. He's an ex-captain. Right, so it hurts him to say it, but he wasn't being rude about Clarko. He's just talking about it honestly. He's just saying North are vulnerable because with that system, you just run at them and they're going to get opened up. So I'm thinking, great. What's West Coast? It's not like West Coast don't know that going into this week. So we either dominate them at contest or we're in trouble again. That's what it feels like.
Well, only time will tell, Mark. And the media have didn't hold back. King, you said they threw in the towel. Yeah, you mentioned Gary Lyon labelling the club very soft. Jimmy Bartell saying 1 or 2 players look like they're happy collecting a paycheck. Might have been one of those guys that was smiling at the end of the game. They're
Yeah.
strong words, but when you put that performance under a microscope, it's pretty hard to push back because there's footage of it. So
Well,
I guess
it's not just Damo and Caroline Wilson.
no, that's right. The usual suspects.
These are ex-champions of the game saying that.
Yeah. Another question is, can we play away from Marvel, Mark? 5-1 at Marvel, 0-6 everywhere else. So I guess the question is, are we just, do we just like the comfort of the indoor and no elements?
Yeah, well, that again, culturally, that raises question marks again about our resilience. But I just, maybe, well, does the strategy hold up better at Marvel? I don't know. It's maybe
faster track. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it's on a faster track, but I don't know. Whatever happens at the moment, well, I'll tell you one thing: sure, the wider grounds we get exposed. That as soon as there's space, it feels like there's not as much space at Marvel. It doesn't feel like there's as much space at Marvel. But as soon as there seems to be space, we get exposed. I just think strategically there's a plan A, and if that doesn't work, we've got nowhere to go. There is no plan B. And I just think, we're a bit lost strategically. I think we're playing we're the only ones playing that defensive strategy. That to me, that can't be good. Like, we're not Brisbane. If you're coming off the premiership and you're the only one doing something, and then everyone's go, oops, we're behind, we better catch up. But no one's looking at North going, oh, we should do that. Like, it's just that's a big worry to me. Regardless of whether we win this week or not, I'm not convinced that we can go forward until that gets rectified. I'm not saying sack Clarko, but he either needs to start listening to the people around him, or that he needs to be told, you're not in charge of that anymore. That's not part. If you want to stay next year, that's not part of your. You're doing a great job building culture. You've got a great relationship with the players, but strategically, no, that's not you anymore. We're taking that off you. If you don't like that, that's fine, but you can't stay. If you want to resign based on that, it's up to you. So there'll be no payout. They've got to toughen up a little bit, the club, about his control over things like that. Because at the moment, he'd have to explain to them. If I was in the board, I'd say, why are you the only coach in the AFL that's got that strategy? Because it's not working, by the way, Alistair. The evidence, the data says it's definitely not working, okay? So you're conceding more points than anyone else. And that's been the case since you've taken over as coach. And now you've got the only strategy in the comp that suggests that's a good idea. Why would we be comfortable with that? And if he hasn't got a good answer, right, you're not doing that. That strategy's being taken away from you. We love everything else you're doing. You're not good at that anymore. And if he doesn't like that, he has to go. I can't see any other way around that. But anyway, I could be wrong, but the only way I'd be comfortable feeling like I'm wrong is if at least there was one other coach with the team in the 8 that was doing the same thing. We're 14th, and we're the only one conceding that many points, and we're the only ones with that defensive strategy. That's not good. That's just not good. So anyway, I'm ranting on about the same thing, but I've thought about it a lot over the last 4 days, trying to understand where the issues are, because I know they're not with him as a person and a person building a positive environment around him. I know he's a great leader like that, and the players want to stay with him and they believe in him, and I think they believe in him despite the fact it's not working. So he's great at getting buy-in. If he got the right buy-in on the right strategy, fantastic. I just think he believes in himself too much when he needs to realise that's not his strength anymore. We're not at 2008 when he was that's almost 20 years ago when he was a leader in advancing the way the game's played. He hasn't done that for a very, very long time. So I just think in the way Fagan's not considered to be a great strategist. he's a great cultural, and he, by the way, he was probably crucial to Hawthorn during that period when they won the 4 flags. So I wouldn't underestimate that either. But I think Clarko needs to play more of the Fagan role and less of the strategist role.
Well, I'm not too sure. We're not in a sanctum or inside the four walls either. We don't know what's going on. Whether Michael Barlow is doing a fair bit, or whether, like you said,
whether they're being listened to. That's the problem.
Yeah, we don't know anything at the moment.
I think the people around him are probably quite capable. I don't necessarily think they're getting the chance to get their view through as easily as they probably should. That's probably the concern.
Possibly. All right. Well, we're here to preview the West Coast game coming up. So I'm gonna, we'll move on from that. Otherwise, we'll just keep going around in circles.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, all good, mate. It's happy to get your opinion. Someone came into the chat actually and said it was at Slick Prolific. He said, unbelievably well spoken. So he's got the fire symbol for you, Mark. So there you go. And he said, I remember Pagan last year. I don't remember Logue laughing at him. Is that true? He goes, yes, it did happen. If you go back, you can probably see the video where Logue and Simpkin were both having a good chuckle about something. I'm not too sure, but they weren't paying attention.
Look.
No. He's done a few of them. So. Yeah. I want to go back to a classic North versus West Coast game before we preview the game. It was in 2013. The Eagles 12-18-90 to North Melbourne 13-10-88. Nick Naitanui, I don't know if you remember this, Mark, kicked a goal after a siren for the West Coast to win the game.
Yeah, I do remember.
Yeah. But that was classic North. Play well, led all day in 2013 and still lost. So, a controversial free kick before that to Adam Selwood. And Nick Naitanui took a good mark. Big performers on that night, Mark. Here's a few names for you. Lockie Hansen got the 3 Brownlow votes. Lockie Hansen. Aaron Black, 3 goals up forward. Daniel Wells, 23 disposals. Classy as always. Brent Harvey, 24 disposals, 2 goals. I can't remember him ever playing a bad game, even in his last year. So, yeah.
So don't upset the supporters about that now.
No, we don't want to start on another rant about No, but that's one of the classic North versus West Coast games. But, unfortunately just fell short. Now, I did this last week, and I'm going through a few players, and where are they now? So I'm going to name a few players, and I'll get a few of the thoughts about him. Nathan Grimer. So he played 86 games for North, plus had the Essendon stint when the whole drugs saga came in. He was a top-up player. His career was cut short by a serious
key defender.
Yeah. But now, if you want to know what Nathan Grimer is doing, he's working at commercial real estate in CRBE in Adelaide. Mark, so
I met someone that's either related to him or a friend of his, and this is in the Northern Rivers of New South Wales. This is in the last week.
No, right.
I played golf with someone that knew him well. Anyway, the guy was talking to, do you know anything about AFL, and was asking whether he was any good. I was saying, he had terrible back trouble, but he's a great player and a great person culturally around the club. But I remember Nathan very well.
Well, there you go. He kicked the 1 career goal against Essendon, I remember. Scott McMahon, a pick 38 back pocket. Pick 38 in a 2003 AFL rookie draft. So to get 124 games out of a player that was that late of a pick in a rookie draft is a pretty good effort. Then after that went to Sandful with Sturt and then played local footy back in South Australia.
I would have thought he played more than 120 odd games. That's interesting. He was a good player, very good user of the ball.
He was a solid, he was a solid player. Took the kick-ins and, good. He had a good right foot.
He'd be good in the modern game. Good, quarterback type player.
Yeah, good set of hands. I didn't mind him. And the last player I'll go through is Gavin Urquhart. So he was picked 21 in the 2006 draft. 41 games.
About 50.
What's that?
I was going to say about 50 games.
Yeah, 41. He started off his career like a...
very quick.
Smooth mover, good kick, had upside, but never fully nailed it. Had a few injuries, then consistency.
Injuries.
Fell out of favour. Delisted at the end of 2012. Ended up playing local footy at Airport West. did some work with the Essendon AFLW program last year as development coach. So still around the game, just not in a high-profile state. So many fond memories of those individuals. I mean, you mentioned Nathan Grimer, Scott McMahon, but anything about Gavin Urquhart?
Well, he was reasonably quick. I remember that. There was a lot of promise early on, but then injuries sort of knocked him around. Hanson's the interesting one. He had a great, beautiful pair of hands. Bit of a quirky player. I wouldn't say he's the most trustworthy player, Hanson. He was a bit of a whipping boy with supporters because he was a bit. I wouldn't say he's inconsistent. I just think he made a few odd decisions every now and again, but he had a beautiful pair of hands. He ended up being a very good player for the club. There was probably too much expectation placed on him because he was a number 3 pick. I remember that, but Brad Scott had a good relationship with him and got the best out of him. I think he ended up being a swing man. He played forward and back.
It's probably more consistent as a defender, Lockie Hanson. He was picked 3 in the Gavin Urquhart draft.
Yeah,
Gavin Urquhart was picked 21. Yeah,
he would be a great intercept defender in the modern game. He read the ball very well in the air, and he was very strong too. He wasn't easily pushed off the ball, and he certainly didn't lack courage. But and very laid back character. I think he was loved by the playing group. But yeah, he probably didn't justify pick 3 perhaps as a over his career, but he played in a side that was. Did he play in all the preliminary finals and stuff? I think he probably did.
He probably would have been around the mark. Yeah, I can't remember exactly. Yeah. I'll probably have to look him up more next time. But he was picked 3 in the 2006 draft.
Yes,
we got Gavin Urquhart. I think Todd Goldstein was in that draft.
I think he probably wasn't the hardest trainer of all time, and he liked to have a beer. But he was a good bloke, great bloke to have around the club. So, yeah, I think he's well remembered around the club for sure.
No, well, there you go. There's a few fun facts about those players. So we'll go to team selection and team news now, Mark. So,
obviously, I haven't seen the changes, but I'm sure there's been some brutal changes and some big names have been dropped for this week. Is that correct?
Oh, huge names. So Tom Blamires, Cooper Harvey. And Taylor Goad comes in for his debut.
Goad's in? Oh, that's interesting. I didn't hear that. Okay.
Yeah, out of the team comes Riley Hardiman, who's injured, obviously the concussion.
Oh, that'll send a message. Who else?
Zach Fisher and Will Dawson, both omitted. So that was big names drop there, Mark. I mean, you can't get much bigger names than Zach Fisher and Will Dawson, I would have thought, to make a statement.
0 consequences again. Yeah. Look, to be fair, I think after a loss that bad, like that disgraceful, if I was the coach, I also wouldn't choose this week to drop them because I think if it's that bad, you've got to give them a chance. But there's no other. This is the absolute last chance. Like if you let me down again, you're not coming back into the side this year. If you even look like playing in the same manner, you won't play for the side again. So I think you've got to give them the chance to wipe the slate clean. In fact, you can't wipe the slate clean. That game you have to live with. Jared Waitley said it the other day. I think that's true. I think winning this week against West Coast won't fix what they did last week. They're going to have to. It's going to take weeks and weeks to earn the trust of the supporters. 7 or 8 weeks of playing. I don't care if they win or lose, just as in full-blown effort every week, start to finish, to make up for something like that. So it's probably not as much as I want consequences for form and honesty around selection. Form honesty, around selection. I don't think this was the week necessarily to go crazy and drop. There's probably Logue really shouldn't be playing. I don't think Logue should play for the rest of the year after what I saw, to be honest. That's my view on that. I was so appalled by that. But look, what it looked like versus what he was feeling, it might be very different things. Okay, so I admit that so maybe it's just a question of saying to him, please, God's sake, don't ever let anyone see that type of optics again. because it's so insulting to the supporter base. So if he ever smiles and laughs like that again after we've just been humiliated, then I'm not going to be feeling sorry for him. But okay, maybe he was doing it out of embarrassment or whatever. I don't know. So that's up to the club to understand that. So I'll forgive them not making any massive changes this week to big names, but this would want to be the last time, and they would want to show up and do the right thing this week. It's a bit more difficult too because of where they are in Perth, I think. But I'm glad Cooper's playing, and I'm glad Goad's playing for sure. And Blamires always gives his, tries.
He looks all right. Yeah, he does look all right. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think I think Cooper Harvey should have played weeks ago, to be honest.
Well, he gets a good opportunity now. So, we'll go through now. I'll put the question out on X, and I'll go through a few of them. Shimmelboner at Port Canane, number 1, could have dropped half the team. Had to be either Dawson or Logue for leg speed. Dino, feeling better about flying 5 hours now. Goad finally. Patrick Allwood said he loves the changes, Mark. So,
I don't mind the changes. Particularly the players coming in. I think they're good changes in terms of who's coming to the side for sure. Particularly Harvey and Goad. I think with the concern around Cherry now at the centre bouncers, I think we have to try Goad. Because I'd be very surprised if we're not talking to some ruckman in the off-season and talking to Cherry about changing his role. Like around the ground and clearances, he's actually huge value, but I don't think he'll be able to go into the centre bouncers next year based on what we're seeing. That's not going to be his go. And I think that's damaging his confidence with the rest of his game. So I'd be thinking, okay, we've got to start him somewhere else, and whoever goes, whether it, I don't think we're going to want to use who's my rising star bet for the year?
Trembath.
Trembath. I don't think that they'll want to use him in the ruck too much long term in terms of cooking him doing that. But so I think Goad will be the answer. But and Goad's really improved his forward craft, by the way. He started to take some good pack marks in the forward line. He's starting to kick goals. So I think that's really promising. And maybe the answer is that he takes most of the centre bounces and then either stays in the ruck or goes forward or goes to the bench and Cherry comes on. I don't know, but it's not working with him at the centre bounce. That's been a disaster this year.
Well, we've got West Coast this week. He's not going against Luke Jackson. So that makes...
Well, Luke Jackson's different again. So Luke Jackson, just putting aside the centre bounce tap work stuff, like his strength last year was not I wasn't thinking last year, just loving watching his tap work. I was just loving the fact he was getting 20 possessions and 12 of them contested. So it's only this year that we're going, Cherry's he's ruined now because he can't jump. Like I wasn't even worrying about the tap outs, but obviously this year that's an issue. But now it's affecting the rest of his game because it's hurting his confidence.
Well, look at his stats, Mark, from this year compared to last year. A lot of his stats are up. He's getting more clearances per game. He's getting more contested possessions. He's averaging more possessions per game. The other thing that's down is his hit-outs. He was averaging 35 hit-outs per game last year. This year it's down to 22.3, and he's 15th in the competition for hit-outs to advantage. So that's where the area is. But I still think you can, like, even if you lose a clearance and you compete in a clearance, you can still win games of football. And at the moment, we've talked about this, we rely too much on a clearance, and we probably rely too much on him in a to carry the team in the midfield.
Yeah, I agree with you. And use the big body there, 100%. So I think he'll adjust and that'll be fine. And I think he and Goad as a combination could work really well. So I'm not worried about Cherry long term. I think what he offers is fantastic for the club from a leadership, and he protects the bodies of the younger players in that midfield because he does so much of the grunt work in close. But you're right, if it doesn't work, then the whole game plan falls apart. And that's just unacceptable because the sides that know they can go, all you have to do is break even with us in that area, and the sides that know how to do that, like Geelong, right? So Adelaide knew if they broke even there, we were in trouble. Geelong knew eventually if they could overpower us in the mid, they'd just run at us, and we'll. Anyway, I won't go on bad, but it's an issue, right? And Gold Coast, when they were fresh, their midfielders, once they were winning the clearances early, they started to tear us up. And of course, Fremantle, that's the strength of theirs. So and it's just like anyway, it's an ongoing problem that can't continue. Like this week, so let's say Gold Coast, if Harley Reid has an absolute blinder, we're going to be in trouble because that if he's dominating clearances and what's his name? Who's the other West Coast player? The older guy who's been back recently doing some damage. Can't remember. Yo, yeah. So if Yo and him start dominating this week, that'll put us under some serious pressure. Anyway, as you've said, that's the modern game. That you can't just plan to dominate clearances and think that's going to win you, get you into the finals. It just won't work. Like you've got to have plan A, B, and C, and you've got to be like Hawthorn and go, well, even if we lose clearances, or Chris Scott, who went through periods where they didn't win clearances. Funnily enough, Clarkson went through that stage 12 years ago where they were terrible clearances, but they dominated anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there are other ways around it besides just trying to win a contest. So,
yeah. I know we've built our midfield. We've built from the midfield out, but you've got to be able to be great from your defensive half, and you've got to be able to defend with system. It just can't be like 1-on-1. It doesn't work.
Yeah. Well, you look at Sam Mitchell now and what he's doing with the Hawks. Josh Battle, Sicily.
I can't wait till we play Hawthorn. He'll have a day out. That's going to be horrific. I'm not looking forward to that.
No, they've certainly had the wood over us in the last few years.
Oh no, he loves it. Yeah, because he knows what he's coming up against.
Yeah. We'll worry about West Coast this week, but I'll see how we go with that. Real Seward came into the chat. Should keep Shotgun and Fisher and drop Logue or Spargo and JK. Just on Charlie Spargo, I don't know. When he came to the club, there was all this talk about what a great teammate he is, and he's a great guy. But and maybe in a second,
I tell you, who'd be a great teammate? The Wizard.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I'll just get back on Spargo. We don't want to go down that rabbit hole. Yeah, I haven't seen anything to suggest that this guy is a great teammate. Now, every time I've seen him, he seems to be very demonstrative to his teammates. He did it at half-time. I think it was half-time where he was having a go at Trembath or something like that for not being in the right spot. I've seen it a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, I would have been Trembath or something, or maybe Larky, I don't know.
Trembath's the last place you should have a go at. Like, he's the one guy who's just doing anything he can to bloody help.
Yeah, but he did it a couple of weeks ago against Adelaide. He was having a go at Jacob Costanti for not handballing into him properly or something like that. He keeps doing it. I've seen him do it a few times during games. He just seems to have a go at his teammates. If I'm a player and I see this bloke, Charlie Spargo, who's getting 8 touches a game, and he's having a go at me, I wouldn't be very receptive to it. So I don't know what he's adding at the moment. Mark, are you a Charlie Spargo fan?
No.
Do you think I would have kept Fisher in for Spargo?
I hate to hammer on about the same thing that I probably brought up before, but it's like we missed out on. The reason I talked about the Wizard was it was directly related to Spargo and the fact that we missed out on him. And I wouldn't be surprised if Clarkson, because his son played with the Wizard at Caulfield, and Clarkson probably watched every game that year because he wasn't coaching that year. He had the year off. He and his wife probably watched every single game the Wizard played, and he probably was begging North to take him. And he was livid they didn't. So ever since, we've just gone after every small forward available. Now we've got 10 small forwards in the squad, but none that are actually doing anything.
Yeah.
and then so we go after Spargo then just becomes like this desperation thing to go after another one who's at the back end of his career, riddled with injuries, like hasn't really played well since 2021 when Melbourne won
the flag, yeah.
And it wasn't like he was kicking 60 goals a year then. He was a value.
No, he was a role player.
He was a role player then, right? So we've brought in an injured role player into North who's not. It's just, we've got all these our most effective small half forward of the last three outside of Paul Curtis has been Cooper Harvey. He was kicking 2 or 3 goals every time he played in the forward line last year, but he's not allowed to play in the forward line now. He's been thrown to the back line. He's going to play this week as a backman. He's been doing a great job with that. He was a good small forward. The only reason they didn't like him is because he's not like a fast pressure small forward, but he needed 3 or 4 kicks to kick 3 goals, and that's the thing. It infuriates me that the only one that was doing well, they've got thrown him out of the forward line. It's just bizarre. It's just like they got too many of the same player. Bang. No good. We're going to turn you into a halfback flanker. We've got too many halfback flankers, so we'll turn you into a half forward or a wingman. It's the same problem with list management. They make a mistake, then they try to overcorrect, and they get a whole lot of D grade players in the same role that aren't up to it. And now we've got these whole lot of halfback flankers and half forward flankers that aren't quite, they're not likely to play in our next final side. But they're clogging up the list. It's just, and then, it's frustrating. But this guy's been given a 3-year deal. It's not like we've got him for a year. Yeah. He's here for 3 years. Like Fisher was given 4 or 5?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
it's
4.
Just
I think.
Insane. Yeah. It's like how many more years of Logue have we got left? He's already been there for a decade. How many more? Another 10 years? Like.
I think they're going to re-sign him soon, Mark. So
I'm being facetious, but Logue, this is his 4th year, and I don't feel like he's finishing anytime. So I think he's got at least another year. Core, how many more? This must be Core's last year, surely.
He's out of contract into the year. So
whatever help the AFL gave us, we blew it up in smoke very quickly. We did not help ourselves. We got no advantage out of it whatsoever. We just burnt it. I mean, the Trembath, some of the best things we've done recently have been mid-season draft stuff. Like Trembath's been the best pickup we've had in years. It's come from nowhere. So congratulations to the guys that found him. Zach Barnes is another small forward. We're trying another one. We're throwing stuff at the wall, hoping it sticks.
Yeah.
And I think he's a reasonable player, but we've got 7 or 8 of them. We've got 7 or 8 back flankers. Gota, I think, will be a good player in the back line.
If he can stay fit, yeah.
And I think Cooper can play there, but I think Cooper should play in the forward line. He kicks goals.
Well, we might have one too many small forward. And they said that in the pre-season when they did the pre-season.
Yeah, we've got too many. Yeah, we've got too many.
Yeah, we've got too many forwards, so we'll put Cooper Harvey back. He said those words pretty much exactly. Yeah.
Never mind that he averages 2 or 3 goals a game. We'll throw him back.
I think it was a leading goal kicker halfway through the year last year in the VFL. So
he is one player that kicks goals. Anyway,
even got a good forward craft.
I like Duursma. I think he's going to keep maturing into a really good player, and I think he's different to Cooper Harvey. But then it is hard. You got Zerha, Duursma, Curtis is like a hybrid. It's he's not really a small forward. He's not really a tall forward. He's really a hybrid player, and I love Curtis as a player. Zerha just feels like, I don't know, feels like he picks and chooses. You never know what you'll get. So it's just.
Do you like him in the back line, Zerha?
No, definitely not. No, I never wanted to play there.
It slows it down too much too.
Yeah.
It slows down.
I would just say you're either in form in the forward line or you play in the VFL. It's up
I would
to
have
you.
dropped him this week.
Yeah, it's up to you, mate.
I think they needed to make a statement this week. I think it would have been a good opportunity, Mark, to drop a senior player or two. And
at least one. At least one. I mean, but look, I'll cop them saying this is your last chance, but it's not your last chance just for this week. It's going to be. It happens again in any of the next 7 or 8 weeks, and that's it for the year. We're not ever going to. You just say if we ever witness effort from anyone ever again, that's it. This is the last time we're having this conversation. You're not that young anymore. No one on this squad is young enough for us to tolerate that level of effort. Like, you can't become the laughing stock of the AFL when your nickname was the shin boners because of the spirit you used to show. It's just so poor. Like, I don't care about losing. It's, as you said before, it's the way you lose. And I'll love North till the day I die. I'll forgive them. I'll just hope you just want to see it come good. But that was horrific. Like, it was just so disgusting to watch that level of what felt like not caring. I don't know what it was, what made them. And I don't buy the buy. I just think it's not. Clarkson talking about the buy just infuriated me. It's like, hold on, you gave up 12 goals against Adelaide. What's that got to do with the buy? You gave up 70 points against Gold Coast before halftime. That had nothing to do with the buy. What are you talking about? This buy nonsense. That's got nothing. This is a continuing trend. It's 6 weeks in a row of 100+ points. The trend's getting worse. That's all. The buy should have fixed it. It hasn't fixed it at all. So what have you done during the bye, Alistair? Like, don't blame the players for having too good a time during the bye. Like, what were you doing to make sure we didn't go the 6th game in a row with 100 points against us? Like, we can't keep making excuses for, like, the opposition was polished and blah, blah, blah. Like, for God's sake, like, what are we doing strategically? What are we doing standards-wise, culturally, to make sure this stops? Like, you just said it before. We have not made one single statement at selection. Again. When have we ever made a statement at selection in the last 4 years? Can you think of one time it's happened?
No. Not in the last few years, no.
Not in the last 4 years. It's never happened. Not once have we dropped a senior player. Like, even I would love it this week if they dropped Larky. Can you imagine the message that would have sent? Now, I'm not saying Larky deserves to be dropped necessarily. But
his performance been pretty poor, Mark.
Yeah, well, send them it. Say, sorry, mate. Like, you'll have to play in the resis this week. I don't care if we lose 3 games in a row because we drop Zurhaar, Larky, Simpkin, whoever you want to drop. I don't care who it is. I forget who the names. I'm not going to pick on particular players. I honestly don't care who they are. But whoever it was would shock the team, the group, the whole thing, would shock the foundation. Would go, right, you either do this or you don't play. And we might get beaten badly for the next 3 weeks against crap sides. I don't care. Like, we're not winning the flag this year. Who cares? But it'll change the culture permanently. Instead, it's like, yep, you humiliate the club in the worst possible way, you get another chance. But look, I don't think you need to drop 6 or 7 at once, but just like St Kilda did it with Del Santo and a few others in the 2008, 2009, around that time, 2007, and he said it made a massive difference to the culture of the club by doing it, and it changed the way he thought. And the play Montagna, I think Montagna might have been another one that might have got dropped. And they said it completely changed the way everyone at the club thought. But these guys just think we can't get dropped. Doesn't matter what we do. As I said, I'll forgive it this week, but they would want to not. It can't happen. Like, one more bad performance, and there've got to be wholesale changes. And I don't care if it causes to win or to lose or not. It doesn't matter. There's just got to be a point in time where.
Yeah.
Part of me goes, I don't know how much this is player-driven, how much is strategy, and how much there's a disconnect between the coaches and the players. The players clearly love Clarkson, but I don't think they believe in the strategy that's there anyway. I'm a long way removed from it. I'm watching from
it might be the optics.
Yeah, the optics aren't great. I'm more worried when people like Adam Simpson are concerned about the strategy. That's when I go, okay, well, he certainly knows more than me, but he wouldn't say that unless he was he has enough knowledge of the game to be concerned. That worries me.
No, look, might be almost showcasing the job interview there. Who knows with Adam Simpson? So, but no, look, we'll look overall, we're still 5-7, I guess, Mark. So, it's not the be all and end all, but yeah, look, when you get performances like that, which you thought you're past, that's where you get a little concern.
I'm not worried about our wins and losses.
If you go 6-7 this week,
yeah, we've had a very easy draw.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah. All right, we'll keep going forward. There's a lot of questions about Griffin Logue getting another game this week, so a lot of people are probably disappointed with that. Outside of that, there's a lot of the same message. So we'll keep going on. Have you got potential match winner this week, Mark? Someone that can step up for us this week and change the fortune of the club, change the culture of the club?
Cooper Trembath. I reckon he'll kick 5 this week.
Okay, yep.
I think he'll
there you go. I like it. What about a potential game breaker, Mark? Someone that's probably not as known and might just sneak up and reset the
Cooper
culture
Harvey.
of the club as well.
Cooper Harvey.
Oh, okay. From halfback flank, just giving a bit of skill.
No, I think
still back there.
I think his kicking from the half-back line could be huge this week.
Yeah, there's one person that came in and sort of said didn't rate Cooper Harvey, so I was a bit surprised by that. Said no, he's been pretty ordinary in reserves all year, but I'm not. Yeah, I think he's been pretty solid.
I don't think
so, but everyone's entitled to their own opinion.
He hasn't played as far as the coaches are concerned and who they judge the best players on the ground. He hasn't played a bad game in the VFL for 2 years. He dominated VFL last year as a forward, and he's dominated.
No, look, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, he's getting offers from other clubs, by the way. So he's playing AFL next year with us or not. He's guaranteed AFL.
I don't think it will be
year.
With us, to be honest with you, mate.
Yeah, well, that could end up
which is fair. Look,
embarrassing.
I think he may go. Look, if I had to take a guess, I'd say he'd end up at Essendon. He's good friends with Nate Caddy. Good opportunity. They're rebuilding the club. They need a crafty small forward like someone like him. I think he'll get plenty of opportunities there. So it makes sense. It's just up the road as well. So, yeah, why not? Maybe James Hird can bring out the best in him. But are you confident, Mark, that we're going to bounce back this week, or no confidence at all?
I'm a bit like I've been all year. I've got no idea.
Thinking about it?
I've got no idea. I don't have a feeling either way, to be honest. I felt like that before every game.
What's a prediction for the game, Mark?
Okay, you want to predict? I can't sit on the fence.
I'll get a prediction. Come on, Mark. We're going to bounce back, aren't we?
All right, we'll win by 3 goals. There you go.
That's it, Mark. That's what I like to hear. We're breaking that Marvel hoodoo. We're going to bounce back.
Trembath will go berserk in the last half and kick 4 or 5 in the last half and get us over the line. There you go.
Oh, I like it, Mark. That's a bit of optimism to almost.
I'm not
saying
it with a lot of enthusiasm. I'm not saying it with a lot of enthusiasm.
No, the energy's been sapped, Mark. But you never know. So
you never know.
Yeah, I haven't looked at the weather or anything like that this weekend.
So I haven't either. Okay. I checked.
Yeah, I probably should have, but
the Bunbury weather looked fantastic. They played in perfect conditions last week.
It wasn't bad, actually, was it? So
perfect.
Too bad. The game was a shambles, but the actual weather up there was quite nice. So I'm not too sure what it's going to be like in West Australia this weekend, but we'll have to wait and see. So yeah, but Mark, did you want to add anything else before I let you go?
No, I apologise for negativity. Hopefully next week we can all be more positive.
Oh, look, let's hope so. But Mark, really appreciate you jumping on. It's been a while. Love your insights and honesty, especially after a tough week like that. You're not on socials anymore, are you, Mark? I haven't seen you on. I don't think you're on X anymore, are you?
No, God, no. Jesus, I'd cop an absolute hiding after some of the comments tonight. No, I'm hiding off. I've been on Facebook and what's the other? Instagram.
Oh, there you go. Mark Hello. Yeah. I think it's Mark Hello 7 maybe on
Yeah,
Instagram or
that's it.
something.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, you can follow his son going onto the PGA Tour on there on Facebook as well. So, yeah, see his journey. But, Mark, thanks so much for coming on, mate. Really appreciate it.
Pleasure. Fingers crossed for this week.
Yeah, no, that's fingers, toes, everything crossed at the moment. So, but I really appreciate you coming on, mate. And that's all for tonight's episode of the Hashtag Kangaroos podcast. Don't forget, like, subscribe, leave a comment, tell Mark what a fantastic job he is of setting the culture through the podcast, the North Melbourne Footy Club. He wants the 90s back, Mark. He wants that time machine. He wants the standards to improve, which is fair enough. I think we all do after last weekend. But hopefully, next week, we're talking about a much better result against the Eagles. But thanks for tuning in, everybody. That's it.